Moonstruck was released in 1987. This is directed by Norman Jewison. It's written by John Patrick Shanley, with a cast including Cher, Nicolas Cage, Olympia Dukakis, Vincent Gardenia. We have John Mahoney. It's because of Mahoney that I became aware of this and wanted to watch it. And I didn't love it, but I will say it has 7.2 out of 10 on IMDb across 78,000 reviews and ratings, with a very impressive Metascore of 83. So I will explain why I personally didn't love it, but that being said, it seems to be well received generally, so if anything about this appeals to you, give it a go, come to your own conclusion. There is a good chance you'll enjoy it much more than I did. It's about a character called Loretta who has agreed to marry Johnny, but then she meets his brother Ronny and develops feelings for Ronny. Will she marry Johnny, or is she meant to be with Ronny? Initially, I was emotionally invested. I really wanted to know what the outcome would be. I didn't know what direction it would take, and I was really curious to find out. But the story itself is just a little bit dull and just not that engaging. There's not much that happens that I genuinely found to be interesting. I was still curious to find out ultimately what would happen, but the journey to that destination was just rather dull, and for me at least, didn't really offer anything interesting. For me, it's definitely one that would be better as background company. To be fully immersed in it, it just doesn't deliver enough. Again, this is purely my perspective. Other people may feel differently, but I just didn't find the story, the actual specifics of the narrative, to be that interesting. On the flip side, we have some very well written characters. They were quite interesting. Not enough to save the film for me, but certainly interesting enough, with some really solid performances there. We do have some truly fabulous music. The music in this film is wonderful, and I did have a lot of fun with that. We also have great camera work and lighting. The technical aspects are all very well done. So for me, it kind of balances out as being a fine film. I didn't care for the narrative, but I was interested in ultimately what would happen. The characters are well written, not enough for me to save the film, but certainly enjoyable enough. And we have gorgeous music, great camera work and lighting. Ultimately, Moonstruck ended up being an okay film. I personally don't agree with that very high rating, but it's not a bad film either. And as I said, if you're curious, if there's anything about this that interests you, or if you just want to see what it's like, give it a go. Maybe you'll agree with the high rating, maybe not. Either way, while I wouldn't watch it again, I don't regret the time I spent watching it, and if it appeals to you, I suppose I'm happy to recommend it.